And then from those conversations, from conversation to lead generated, you're getting 8 to 10 per day. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
That's phenomenal. I mean, that's a really good conversion rate. So now let's talk about how you're able to convert so high, because typically, Marlene, we see a 10% conversion from contact to lead generated. So in 4 hours of calling, what we like to see is an agent have 40 conversations and 4 email addresses. So I want to unpack, you're getting 10. So one of two things are happening. Either A, your skills have really got better in 9 months, which they probably have, and or I want to understand your definition of a lead and how somebody gets into the database. So first off, let's talk about skills. What are you saying to get these people to have a good conversation to essentially turn them into a listing? Because you've made $100,000 with a lead source that usually takes a long time to convert, like circle prospecting. You're able to convert, get listings, get them sold all within 9 months. So what are you doing?
I'm using your scripts. Actually, that's what I'm doing, and I'm mastering it. I like your opening script that you just released.
I think it's the best opener ever. It's probably one of my best sales work. There's so much psychology in it. Can we role play it real quick? How you do it, and I'll role play it with you. Not to put you on the spot, but are you good with that? You comfortable with that?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Because I want people to hear this, because some of our coaching clients still fight me on this, but you're using it with great success. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I am.
All right. I want to hear how you deliver it, and then I'll share with you how I deliver it. So I'll be the prospect first. You be yourself, and then I'll role play it back to you. Ready? So ring, ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, Brandon.
Yeah, this is Brandon.
Oh, hey, Brandon. This is Marlene. I'm not too sure now is actually the right time, but I was, just hoping to tell you why I called. And then I guess, you can decide whether or not we need to further the conversation. Does that sound fair to you?
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. And the reason why it was so good is because okay, now I understand why you're getting these results. Your skills have come a long way. Most people, when they deliver it, especially in a role play, sound so scripted. Like you're really good, because the way you deliver that, so many people listening to this, they won't get it, right? They'll look back at it, but once they really slow down and watch that rerun 10 times, there's a lot happening there. Like you're framing things, you're making it more conversational, you're pausing at certain areas, you're using downswings, you're using upswings, you're listening for personality styles, you're being curious, which intrigues the prospect. You're doing all of those things at once, correct?
Yes, it's very powerful, actually. And just mirroring matching. You said hello, right. So I said hello. If you said, hey, girl, I'd be like, hey, girl.
Yep.
So that's important, too. And I feel matching people's energy, because when I get sales calls and like, hi, Marlene, just so hi. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah.
It's just so mirroring matching is important.
Yeah. It's you just, you took the words out of my mouth. Like, it's a salesperson, and you get annoyed and you raise your level of resistance when, people aren't mirror matching. Right. So I'll just role play it back to you. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Marlene.
Yes.
Marlene, this is Brandon. I'm a local realtor, and I'm not sure now's the right time, but I was hoping to tell you maybe why I called, and then you can decide if we need to talk further. Fair enough?
Okay. Yeah.
And then it puts us in a position to ask essentially for what we want. So where do you take the conversation when you give the control back to the prospect and they say, yeah, sure, what's up? What do you take the conversation from there?
Okay. So sometimes people be like, okay. And I'd be like,
Yep.
Okay, great. Just had to ask. Yeah, I was just curious. Do you still own that property on Alba Drive?
I do.
Okay, great. Yeah. I was just curious if you'd consider selling that property while the market is so high, as I'm sure you're aware of. If you get a really good offer, and of course, if it made sense to you and your family.
Got it. I love it. So yeah, you're just nailing the script, and a lot of people are responding positively to that, obviously, right? Yeah, that's good. So of the listings you're getting through this strategy, how many come from true absentee owners versus the circle prospecting? That's the thing I'm really curious about. If you had to guess, the 100K with like non-FSBOs, where does it come from if you had to break it down?
So the 100K comes from circle prospecting, actually.
So no absentee owners at all?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, actually, I have one that I just signed yesterday. So one now.
Okay. So that's the call that I really want to share with the audience, of like how you're essentially taking somebody who has not raised their hand, They're not an absentee owner. They're a regular homeowner, right? How are you able to convert these into listings, I believe, so fast? Because typically with circle prospecting, it takes 6 to 12 months of nurturing them because you're talking to them so up the funnel. But tell me your strategy and how you're able to convert these into listings so quickly.
Well, usually I'll ask, that question. I was just curious if you'd consider, and they'll be like, no. And I would ask, I feel that that's just an immediate response. And like, okay, so would you ever consider possibly selling in the future?
Yep.
And then they'll actually give you a little bit more truth. They'll be like, well, yeah, I have to, I actually have to move next year. I have a job in California. I'm PCSing, whatever it is. We actually have a lot of people that are moving in and out of the island.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Got it. Okay. So, now that makes sense. And the other thing that you probably have learned in doing this is what you just said, which is the first time a prospect gives you some type of objection, not to take it literally the first time, because that's just a reflex, correct?
Yes.
That's like walking into the department store and someone saying, how can I help you? And we always respond with, no, I'm just looking, right? That's the same thing. And then the person is at the cash register 90 seconds later buying something. It's like, I thought you were just looking. No, that was just a reflex. So that's what you're talking about. That's what we try to teach agents when they call. So, all right, that makes sense. So I think a big piece of this as far as next steps goes is when you generate the opportunity, right? And the person says, yeah, we're thinking about doing something in the future. Tell us your lead follow-up and how you're able to convert them into a listing appointment. This is where 90% of the industry is just dropping the ball. Like they just don't know how to follow up. They have no systems for it. So what do you do?
So I have been trying to hone on my systems because in the beginning, I feel like when you're a new agent, you're just scrambling and trying to figure out what do I do or what's my schedule. And so I just changed my CRM. I'm using Follow Up Boss now.
Love it.
And it doesn't matter what CRM you use. Like you said, it just as long as you use it. So I like Follow Up Boss. It's pretty for me. So I like to look at it. And I have an action plan that I created just for my cold calling. So I use the absentee owner script and I'll ask them if they want a price analysis. So what I do is I send them a price analysis and then I send a bomb with that price analysis. And I'm like, hey, it's Marlene. As promised, I have attached a price analysis to this email as well as a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. So you can see, what's going on in your neighborhood. I'll circle back with you in a few days and go over with more detail. So I'll send that out.
Yep.
Then I'll call them in a few days and I'll say, hey, did you get the price analysis? Just seeing if you had any questions on that. And then they'll say yes or no. And then from there, I'll kind of gauge if they're a long-term nurture or if they're a hot prospect by that second phone call. And then I'll change my strategy from there. If they're hot, then I'm calling them every few days. If they're long-term, then it's like 30 to 90 days.
Got it. I love it. And yeah, the bomb video is making you stand out. And the thing with this strategy is there's no competition like there is with the for sale by owner or an expired listing where you have so many people going after the same opportunity. You probably rarely, if ever, have competition with going through this strategy. Am I right?
That's actually a really good question. So I don't have any so the resistance isn't as high when you're on the phone, but if they're getting ready to actually list, the competition gets pretty high. I've been in listing presentations where they're like, I've already talked to 5 realtors, so I don't really want to talk to another one, but then I just push for that appointment.
Yeah. And that's what's so interesting about our business is the further somebody is out from selling, the less competition. That's why so many agents go after for sale by owners and expireds because they're all like the hot prospects, but it's very competitive. So I think you have a nice balance of both. And I love hearing the chickens in the background. That's great. Sorry. Are those yours? No, don't be sorry. I love it. Are those yours?
They're my neighbors. We have a lot of chickens in Hawaii. Yeah.
Do you get eggs for free?
No, we don't, but we do have an egg farm.
Okay.
A local egg farm. So it's cool. Yeah.
I love it. And the other thing I like about it, I guess I don't want to assume, but unlike going after maybe a for sale by owner or an expired where maybe to get a full commission is a lot harder. Are you finding that these are easier to get a full commission on?
Yes, 100%. Yes, because with the for sale by owners, the reason why they're selling is because they want a lower commission. I mean, they
That's
don't
right.
want to pay commission usually.
Yep.
Not at all times, though.
Right.
Not all times. My first FISBO, he just, I don't know, his sister just threw it up there and he wanted to sell. He just didn't have a realtor at the time. And that was $1 million listing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would agree with you. I mean, this is why and that's why I'm so excited to be launching our new program, Listing Agent Academy, where we teach all of the lead sources and not just for sale by owners. Like people know me as like the FISBO guy, but I'm like, dude, that's just a small little portion of like what your business can look like. And you said it at the beginning of the podcast, like you changed your mindset of like, you were just focusing on FISBOs and you're like, wait a minute. If I go after additional lead sources, and that's exactly what you've been able to do to take your income from 50K to 150K in less than 12 months.